This is a campaign that is happening soon. I am not able to share the details yet, but we're working with another brand to bring opportunities to independent artists. Hello, well, good evening and good morning, depending on wherever you're tuning in. Hello, I am Louise. You're watching, this is the Offstage Choose special live stream. We're here to talk about a new competition. This is a competition for songwriters, and it's called Give Yourself Up to Imagination. So the name doesn't tell you enough, and that is why we're here to talk all about this competition, to give you all the details so that you can decide if this is the competition for you. A little bit about Offstage Tunes, and if you're here, you've already watched Offstage Tunes shows in the past. Hello to you. I'm seeing some old friends. Boy Pierce, hello, Adrian, and Tony, who is with me West. And so, yeah, thank you for all the familiar faces for tuning in. Oh, Left Terry, thank you. Like all these people that have been watching Offstage Tunes videos in the past. I think this is a great opportunity. And let me tell you why. So you're familiar with our content. It's what we do to interview independent musicians, get to know them, get to know their craft, why they do what they do, and get to know their stories. It's all about the stories. None of the features cause anything to musicians. We do this because we truly are inspired by musicians and we truly are interested in their journey. So all of that is a labor of love. And I see similarities with this competition. So this competition stems from a story that was written about a girl embarking on a journey. And we'll talk a lot more about the story, but the competition is free to enter. And what they're looking for essentially is one piece of original music that is going to complement the story. And it's free to enter because really what they're looking for is talent. And what they're looking for is the right music to go with the story. And I can relate to that a lot because they're truly looking for talent at the same way that I'm looking for musicians to feature because of their love for music. And that's how we got connected. That's why I'm so excited to bring this opportunity to you. Have I mentioned the prize, a cash prize of $10,000 USD if you're selected? So we're going to get into details. Let me first introduce the organizers of this competition, and we'll start by telling you a little bit about Hans Ebert, who is the founder and creative director of Open Space. So now, Open Space, let me tell you that Open Space is the organizer behind this competition. They're all about bridging the gap. They're all about bringing creators, whether you're a musician, filmmaker, chef, like whatever you're creating, they're about bringing these people together onto the platform and telling their story. So you can now see the similarities between Open Space and Offstage Tunes. So let's bring Hans Ebert onto the show. I haven't finished introducing Hans yet. I just told you that he's a creative director and also the founder of Open Space. He is also the creative and marketing advisor at the Hong Kong Jockey Club. Hans is actually tuning in all the way from Hong Kong, hence the 9:30 p.m. time, because it's actually 9:30 over there in the morning time for them. I see Hans is probably enjoying some brunch with some orange juice, or who knows, maybe a little bit of mimosa. But lastly, and more importantly, why we got connected and our mutual appreciation for musicians is Hans used to be the executive director at Universal Music as well as EMI Music Asia. He's been in the music industry for all his entire life, and he has a lot of stories to tell. Unfortunately, we don't have that much time to go through all of his stories with different musicians as well as like his experience. But let me just like turn it over really quickly to Hans to fill in whatever gaps I may have missed in introducing Hans to everyone. So over to you, Hans.
Thanks, Louise. Where shall I start? Well, first of all, I haven't been really in music all my life. I started out in journalism and did some writing for Billboard magazine and entertainment columns and stuff like that. Then moved into advertising and worked on bringing the McDonald's business to Hong Kong, whether that's good or bad. And but I learned a lot about marketing. And then since I was writing for Billboard, I got asked by Polygram Music, which became Universal Music, to join them as their creative director and marketing head. And then I was with Universal Music and worked with some good people and saw the startup of things like Def Jam. And then got asked by my ex chairman to come to EMI because they were joining EMI. And that, in short, that's really how it happened, you know. And as far as this so-called songwriting competition is concerned, it's really more than that. It's a multimedia project that involves art and film and poetry, stories, and I think you've read or you've seen the video of the story, and the story actually has no
Wait,
ending.
Hans, don't give it away just yet, Hans, because we are actually going to share a teaser of that story in just a
Okay,
moment.
cool.
So let me just save that mystery for like 2 minutes later. And let me now welcome Camila Wright, who is also part of the organizing this competition. Camila is also joining from Hong Kong, but she is serving as the communications advisor for this competition. She is also very well known for being the co-founder of Popbitch, which is a weekly UK-based celebrity and pop music newsletter that has been going around for 21 years. So every Thursday, there's a lot of insider kind of information. A lot of that has to do with musicians. And she was also a journalist formerly at Fleet Street. So Camila, have I missed anything? Do you want to say a few words to our audience?
Hey Louise, really nice to meet you guys. I guess before Popbitch, I used to do music journalism for newspapers and magazines when print and things like that were a thing. So I was privileged to get the opportunity to travel around the world with people like Dell, Pharrell Williams, LCD Sound System, and just get the opportunity to experience time with really creative storytellers in the music world. And I guess coming from that is what inspired Popbitch. It was always meant to be an independent piece of media that talked with my and for people in the music industry and the media, and it kind of still is. So even though in the last year or two, particularly, it's been such a hard time for anybody in this business, anybody in the live entertainment world, I mean, our advertising before this was always gigs, events, live shows, festivals, and of course, we've seen how that industry has been decimated by COVID. So I'm absolutely delighted to be part of something which is helping storytellers and songwriters to unlock some of their creativity and actually get paid for it. So I'm pleased to be part of this.
And it's great to have you. I'm not kidding when I say this competition involves music industry veterans, because both of you, Hans and Camilla, have so much experience. You've met so many musicians. And then what I love the most is that you're looking for musicians, not necessarily based on how established they are, how many followers there are. You are truly interested in talent and somebody with a song that fits the story. I think it's now time for us to show everybody a teaser of what the story is, and then we'll continue from there. So I've prepared 2 clips, and they're both really short, and I've broken up into 2 because I have some questions that I want to ask in between the 2. So let's show you the very first clip. This is chapter 1 of the story.
In a time that seemed to have stopped, and a world that had lost its way and was covered in a blanket of fear and confusion, a heavy rain was beating against her bedroom window. It didn't matter. Madison was a teenager from somewhere in Scandinavia who had come to Hong Kong as an exchange student to study Mandarin and Chinese history. This day was something different. She had the feeling that what lay ahead was something leading to somewhere she had never been.
Okay, let's pause right here because immediately I have some questions. Well, number 1 is, does location matter? Because you do mention early on, have I mentioned that Hans is the writer of the story? Let me just address that right now. Hans is...
No, you did.
I did? Okay.
You did.
He wrote the story.
And Camilla talked more than I did, so, you know.
I will give you stage time for sure, Hans. No worries.
No, I don't need it. You know what happens?
So location. The protagonist in the story, she is in Hong Kong learning a language. And we will mention later that the song to enter this competition needs to be in English. And can we just quickly touch on that? Does location matter? Why English language?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, Louise, I had a different name for Madison, but then an ex-girlfriend didn't like that name, and then someone else didn't like another name, so I came up with Madison, and everyone agreed. And it just so happened that the group that you've met, Jennifer and Julietta, we were having lunch out in the new territories of Hong Kong, and I thought, wow, this is so away from the city that when I was writing it, it just turned out that she's Scandinavian because I was dating a Scandinavian girl, and so she became Scandinavian, and it became this little village, you know. So which I thought had something to do with me personally, because I never expected the story to move the way it has, because it kind of wrote itself. I had the opening, but I didn't have I had kind of the middle part, but it was like, you know, I think there's always an inner person writing things for me anyway. So it kind of took me on this journey as a writer.
But we got a comment from somebody who said intrigued. So that was only like 30 seconds of the song. You've got somebody, a captive audience who is probably wanting to find out more. But before I play the second clip, I have one more question, and that is the image of the cassette tape. And as we play part 2 of this teaser, you'll actually hear that Madison actually records music on the cassette tape. Why the cassette tape? Because nowadays, you wrote the music recently. Nowadays, everyone's on Spotify or wherever, like Apple Music. Why did you choose to use a more old-fashioned way of recording music and also playing music?
The story is kind of timeless, so it can jump from era to era, and it's it's whatever people want to make of it. You know, if this girl left her house with a hi-fi and state-of-the-art equipment, it didn't quite make sense. So if she's got a beat-up cassette player, which is what I use, and I have it next to my bed, and I just hum something in there, or I hum it into my iPhone. That's kind of how I work, right? So, like I said, I never expected the story to move along. By the way, Denmark has some very, very good bands. I'm a big fan. I thought I'd get
What-
it. So does Sweden.
Okay, you'll have to share some of those with us, but
Yeah.
on a different show. I want to show clip 2 of the story, which is about a minute long, so that everyone watching can get a little more taste of it. Here's clip 2.
She looked around her lonely room with not even a chair for company. That was fine. It was more than what she needed. For company, there was always Lego, her pet cat, looking up at her. Lego was all the company Madison needed, along with her songs. It was her imagination that inspired Madison to write down her thoughts. These were snapshots of memories and lines to poems she scribbled down on pieces of paper that became ideas to songs which she hummed into a beat-up old cassette tape recorder. Her songs were the soundtrack to her life, and which came to her almost magically and from some very special and personal place in her heart and mind. With the world she was in having less and less time for music, musicians had all but disappeared as they were no longer needed. The meaning behind her songs became more and more important to Madison. They were her bridge to the present, past, and future.
Okay, that's all we're going to show everyone who's tuning in right now. The rest of the story is available online, which we will share with you towards the end of the show. So that's a little taste. I believe there are 4 chapters, and to enter the competition, you of course will need to watch the full story so that you at least know what it's about, and you have to decide if this is something that inspires you to write your music. So let's go back to Hans and Camilla now. So actually, let's start with Camilla. You obviously know the story. What kind of song do you think you personally are looking forward to seeing people submit?
I don't think it's really about genre or anything like that. It's just hearing, I guess, something that seems to come from somebody's heart. I think people are looking at the moment for something that feels real, that you get a connection with. So I think whether it's funk, dance, indie, rock, something that sounds 70s, something that sounds lo-fi, anything. I can listen to any of it, but I think something that makes you feel that it's really personal to the songwriter.
What about a rap? Because we've got some rappers in the house. Yeah, okay. So they're looking for any genre. Over to you, Hans. I want to find out from you what your vision is for this project. As you mentioned earlier, it's going to be not just a song, it's not just a story, it's really a multimedia kind of production. It's also video, everything coming together. What's the ultimate vision for this?
Honestly, there's a big picture vision, is that what is now a multimedia project can go off in different branches, right? That could be an indie film or a poem, or like Camilla said, you know, there are no bounds as to what the style of music is, because as you read the story, sometimes having music you don't expect works as well. So for me, maybe I'm thinking I don't know, Ryan Adams, not Brian Adams, Ryan Adams, or something Chris Martin might write. But other people might have other ideas, and that's fine, fine for me. I don't see Cardi B, writing anything, but
You don't?
not really. No, no. I don't think it would fit the story. But I was actually listening to very early this morning. I was listening to Empire State of Mind, right? And big fan of Alicia Keys and Jay-Z. So it really depends on what might work by being different and not predictable. I guess I'm not looking for predictability personally, but there are other judges. It's not just me making all the decisions. So I'm going to be led by the interactivity I hope that we get, right? So,
And hopefully some surprises along the way will kind of influence where that vision is, right? Because depending
yeah,
on who submits, you're like, oh,
yeah,
I didn't think of this type of music, but it works. What
yeah.
about compositions that have no lyrics to it? Are those eligible?
Sure. I mean, instrumental music can create a mood, right? So if you create instrumental music, and all the writers have all the rights. I don't want rights issues because I've dealt with that at EMI and Universal. That I don't want to get
And we will
involved in
talk about that.
publishing
That's
rights.
one of,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there are no rights issues. So if someone sends in a piece of instrumental music, and getting someone like Morgan Freeman, for instance, or James Earl Jones to narrate something isn't as expensive as people think. I work with these guys in advertising, right? So if someone sends a piece of instrumental music and it's a girl, it's a female voice, it's Natalie Portman or whoever, Hugh O'Brien, we had Robbie Williams, who want to narrate the story, and the composer of that instrumental piece of music will talk to them and say, "Hey, you game for it?" And if they are, fine, we'll do it. And we'll pay for it, right? So
Yeah, and that's, really the beauty of it for songwriters is all you need to do is watch the story. And by the way, somebody asked when the next chapter will release. All of them have been released. They recently just launched a brand new website showcasing all of the content, all of the story that goes with this competition, as well as all the rules and questions that you need to submit and where to submit your song. So all of that is available, and we will share that link with you towards the end of the show, so you can look forward to checking out the rest of the story. But something that you mentioned earlier is escaping me right now.
you
Um,
you
what
wanted to
what were
know
you saying?
why I named the cat, why I named the cat Lego?
Oh,
Danish,
well, okay, let's go to that. It wasn't some.
No, 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 I'm
I
just
lost my train
joking.
of thought, but let's go to the
Yeah.
cat
Well, I
because
do that.
every
Yeah.
superhero needs an animal sidekick,
Do it.
right?
I love cats. What can I say?
Yeah. So
Just have to.
if somebody submits music with some meowing in the back, that may win you extra points. Just saying.
They might score extra points with me, and I'll do a separate deal with them.
All
For
right, there
another
you go.
project. 'Cause,
Side project.
yeah,
Okay,
I'm
I'm sure
already
now
working on it. I'm already working on other projects anyway. So uh,
Hans has
this is
got
kind
his
of done
hands
and
full.
dusted. Yeah.
Well,
So
let's go through. I have a bunch of competition rules that I want to go through each one. And then at the end, we will also save some time. If we have time, we'll ask more about Hans, your experience with music and everything else that you want to share about music coming from Denmark or wherever else. So let's go to some of those song rules and what people need to know about that. Very first one is to enter the competition, you have to watch the story and answer 6 questions. So why do you think it's necessary to learn to know the story inside out, Hans? Other than the fact that you wrote it, why do you want to connect music with a piece of story? Because this is something
I'd
that
like
isn't
people,
really done.
yeah. I'd like people to read the story I wrote. But other than that, it's just that there may be different parts of the story that inspire a writer, because I speed read, right? So if I speed read and I see something that grabs my attention and gives me an idea for a lyric, I'll start writing some song, a song based on that line. So it's giving really people a buffet of choices, saying here it is. If there's this part of the story you like, and you feel you want to write a song for this part of the story, go ahead. So it's very flexible, you know, but
Okay.
that's really how it is. It's not simple. Uh,
It's flexible. He wants you to know the story because it may inspire your songwriting as well. For you, Camila, what is there something about the song? Sorry, about the story that is most memorable for you? And without giving all of it away, if you could share something that just you keep referring back, you keep remembering when you think about the story that Hans wrote.
I think the thing I take away, and a lot of people will take away from it, is that Hans wrote it so that he started a story, but your own imagination has to take it where you want it to go, has to finish it. And I think that's the really interesting thing for me. That I won't spoil it for everybody by saying where it gets to, but it gets to a point where you can't stop thinking about where stage 2, the next stage might be. I think that's one of the things that's good about imaginative projects, that they don't just stop when the story stops or the song stops, it carries on in your mind. And I think that's the bit that people will take from it. I'm not going to give anything away about where it stops or where you get to it.
Okay, so she's really encouraging everyone after this live chat to go and watch that story and just check it out. So let's move on to our Lego looks like Russian blue. Can't wait to read the story. Okay, great. You're all doing a terrific job of encouraging people or just piquing everyone's curiosity. So let's move on to the next set of rules. So eligibility, it's open to songwriters around the world. And if you're under age 18, you can still enter, but you just need permission from a parent and guardian. So this is pretty self-explanatory, and the great thing about this, it's not restricted to any location. But I will mention that the prize money does not change. It is in USD, $10,000 in USD. Okay, moving on to next one. This one I have some questions about. So song entries must be original. I think we established that. It must be in English and under 5 minutes long. My first burning question is why under 5 minutes? Because the story itself is definitely longer than 5 minutes. So what is the reasoning behind that length restriction?
it's just, honestly, Louise, it's just a number, because um, someone wanted 3 minutes 30 seconds, someone wanted 4 minutes, and I just said, come on, man, just make it less than 5 minutes. If we get a wonderful track, that someone who wants to be Pink Floyd send in, that's 25 minutes long, fine, but we just have to, in the rules, which I don't believe in rules, but I didn't write the
Oh,
rules, other people wrote the rules. So if they say under 5 minutes, you got to use common sense. If the track is 8 minutes and great, fine, we're not gonna time it, right? At least I'm not, you know
Okay, great.
however
So
long it takes, you know.
this is good insider information because the people that miss out on this live chat, they will not know that Hans does not really care about the length. But
I
I
really
don't know.
don't.
I'm curious who you've been talking to. Why are people saying they need to be 3 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever? That's just um
Pretty,
it
pretty, pretty,
intriguing.
pretty anal retentive people who don't sort of understand that, you know, how long's a ball of string? I mean, come on, if the song is 8 minutes long, I mean, it. But just to keep the peace, I just said, why don't we just compromise instead of 3 minutes 30, 4 minutes? Can we just say less than 5? But deep down, I'm going in my head, I don't really care if it's 12 minutes long, 20 minutes long, tells the whole story. It's a mini opera. I don't care as long as it's
I like
good.
it.
As long
I
as it's
like it.
good. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You got to let your inspiration and let your creativity
Well,
make
this
some
is
of
what
those
we're.
decisions.
This is this is really the objective behind the whole project, was to inspire people to start imagining again, and by imagining, creating again, but
Yeah.
creating with like new tools, you know, and looking at things differently instead of trying to be a hit on Instagram, you know, with strange views and numbers and algorithms have a time and place, but I want it to be more about the song and the music and the atmosphere that the music gives. So it's not really, it can be a song, but it could be atmospheric music as well. It's just an empty canvas. I
And you're
will
looking
give
for
you,
something from the heart.
I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'll know when I hear it, right? I can't say it's got to sound like Fix You by Coldplay, or it's got to sound like a Chris Cornell Soundgarden song. I can't, because I'd like to be able to hear something that makes me go, wow, you know, because I have listened to quite a lot of music in my time, you know, so I I'm I'm just looking for something that really knocks me out, but also is in sync with the story and kind of
So,
elevates the story.
sure. Yeah, the two have to complement each other. So I have another question related to this. It has to be original. That's fine. Does it matter if it was written 2 days after this live stream, or 2 weeks prior, or 20 years ago?
No,
Does that matter?
no, no.
Okay.
Unless it's the ghost of Frank Sinatra sort of sending in something written 20, 30 years ago, you know. But no, to answer your question, no. It could be something that someone's had in their hip pocket for the last 5 years, 10 years, you know, and they want to revive it, and here's an opportunity. And it's just giving people opportunities, you know, and it's a lot to do with common sense, really.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, there are rules, but there are no rules.
Great.
Okay,
I like it.
you've got a blank canvas. So
Oh, very good question coming from NYC Valkyrie. Can artists submit more than one piece? I do know the answer to this, but let's put Camila on the spot. Camila, would you like to answer this one? Oh,
let
let
her
me
answer
unmute
it,
you.
because I don't even know.
You don't even
Don't,
know. Okay,
I was going to say,
let
don't
me
put
take
me on the
over.
spot. I don't know.
Our organizers are busy enjoying their morning breakfast, so let me
Breakfast.
answer this for them. Yes, you can submit more than one piece, and that is allowed. What I don't know, though, I have a feeling Hans and Camila are gonna say, "Let's break the rules." The next let's go to the next rule, because next we're going to talk about the 12 finalists. Okay, so out of all the entries, all the submissions, 12 will be chosen, and there will be a popular vote, which will account for 80% of the final score, and then 20% will come from the judges. But what if somebody submits 2 or even 3 amazing songs? Can they have more than one piece into the final round? Is that possible? Is that allowed?
Anything's possible. It depends how much money I have in my hip pocket, because I can't keep doling out $10,000. But to answer your question, yes, because if the horses are good and they win, I win, and I'll give
I
that
like
money
it.
away to a songwriter. So it's like I said again, don't have to be pedantic, about 12 finalists and 3 go in. It's not the Eurovision Song Contest or America's Got Talent or American Idol. It's exactly what I don't want to do, because I've worked on American Idol, and, with Simon Fuller. I don't want to go that route. I want to do something different. And this, what we're discussing now, is definitely going to change. It's a moving creature. It's this weird amoeba that has, different tentacles. And we've just got to be ready to change, because the world is changing every day.
Are you suggesting, Hans, that if you get way too many good submissions, you're going to have more than one prize given out?
I wouldn't call it a prize, but let's put it this way. They would be rewarded in some way, which I haven't thought about. But if I get, let's say a baker's dozen worth of really good songs, I don't own the rights, but if it helps people get their music heard through the efforts that we're putting into it, that's fine. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think a good song will ever be wasted. So it's like if I personally hear 6 to 8 good songs, or even more than that, and I think they're really, really good, and I'll be basing it on people I've worked with, right? So I don't think they'll be crap, right?
So I think what you're saying is there may be one song selected for this project, but if you hear other good songs, there may be other opportunities for those songs as well, right? The competition doesn't necessarily have to end here, or your song entries uh, don't have to end here, even if you are not chosen as the winner.
Well, you don't want me to talk about the ending. So, like I've said, nothing ends here. Everything
Great.
starts here. Where it ends could be 1 year from now with another round, and what we're talking about now can evolve into something else. But we have to start with something. So what you have now is something, and I might throw a curveball to the team and say, I thought about it. Why don't we have 3 winners and each one gets 10 grand? So
Ooh,
just,
confetti in the air if that happens, right?
but I think the money is,
The money is secondary. Really,
yeah,
the main objective is, can we get a good song? That's the
yeah,
question.
yeah.
And I want to throw a question in Camila's way. There is this chosen by popular votes, which counts for 80%. Who are we expecting to participate in the voting process? And I know the voting process is going to be open for roughly a month, and I'm sure it's going to be open worldwide. But any kind of thoughts on how we will gather those people to help decide who the winner will be?
We'll be taking this the competition, the shortlist out to media and bloggers, radio stations, things around the world, and giving people the opportunity to have a listen to the songs then vote on them. I think, as you and others were saying, it's about finding good songs, but also, from my perspective, I think it's helping people listen to songs. It's bringing people out there to hear kind of what we're doing. So a lot of this later part of the campaign for us would be making sure that the songs are heard by, music fans around the world.
Okay. So
Louise, it's
basically,
like just very quickly because I'm not sure you can hear Camilla that well, but let's say a radio station in Australia or the UK hear a song that hasn't quote unquote won and says, Hans, this is incredible. Can we use this song? So they're a winner as well, right? So there are different quote unquote ways of winning, right?
yeah,
Because just
absolutely.
what the public vote and we vote may not be the one that some other people like. And if they like it and there's a big enough market for it, why not? I mean,
Yeah, it,
I've got a couple of music companies wanting to get involved, but I just don't want them involved, because I know how it works. I just want
uh,
them to stay away.
and because you want this to be pure, when you have too many cooks in the kitchen, it may derail the original thought process and the
Yeah,
original purpose. So I want to
exactly.
just shout out to Minnie, who's saying it's very good to hear someone creating a platform to reward people. Absolutely, people who want to do good music. That is why we're
And
sharing
what
this
this
with everyone.
sure, and what this person says about a platform, that's exactly what this whole thing is about. It's creating an online platform for all kinds of artists, and to see at the end of the day what kind of gumbo jumbo comes together. It might be something that's no one's ever heard of. I've been listening recently to a girl from a singer-songwriter from Myanmar who's brilliant, and does some great stuff. And there's some great music happening all around the world. So, it's just creating an international or global artist colony online.
It's an open
Is that all
space,
right?
as I said earlier. It's an open space for creators to come together, share their craft, and through this competition, you're able to elevate some of those and share their music with the world. So let's now talk about the prize that people are obviously going to be happy to learn about, because it's not every day that you could look forward to a cash prize of $10,000 USD. But on top of that, there's also a music video that will be made using the winner's music. So the music video, is it going to be I don't know how it's going to be made. Is it obviously going to have the music, that original music? Is it going to have snippets of the story, or as previously mentioned, it's still very fluid, it's still being kind of developed,
It,
because depending on what music is submitted, that may determine the music video's direction.
well, one thing's for sure, we will definitely we'll definitely have a video using the footage we've used in the story. We'll edit
Mhm.
it, we'll pay for it, etc. Right? And because I work closely with the editor who's actually based in South Africa, so if she
Mm.
and I think the song deserves its own video, we'll do it. Right? See, the thing is, it's funny because I guess it's coming from music company. I'm not that really concerned about the money. I just want a good, you know, I just want to see this work and be more than it is, because it's already more than it is. So just wanted to go off into different areas that I haven't even thought of right now.
We need more people like you, Hans, who don't necessarily care so much about the money. They just want good talent, good music, because too many times we're seeing different competitions, and you have to pay to enter,
Yeah.
and sometimes they pick already established artists when they say they're looking for independent music. So that can be frustrating when the objective is not necessarily for
I don't
the
think it's
best original
frustrating. I
music.
think it's wrong.
You think
I
it's
just think
wrong?
it's. I
It's a
don't think people.
moneymaker for some people to
Well,
host these competitions.
yeah, I guess so. You
So
know.
we need it. It's very good for creators who are inspired by the story to be able to share their music and not have to also take out their wallet and pay for it. All you need really, if you're watching and you're interested, all you need is to invest a little bit of time, 15-20 minutes, just to go through the music, see if it connects with you, and then you
Not the
go from there.
music. Not the music.
Oh, did I say music? I
The
meant the story.
yeah, the story. But
The story.
honestly, even more than the story, it's just the bigger picture of what I'm trying to do with this platform is to make it much broader and bring in poets and artists and photographers and all that. So it takes then music to a different level. Um,
So
it
creators from different disciplines.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe
Yeah,
they can all come together and someone hears, let's say, the winning song and says, "Hey, I'd love to do a video for it," and we
sure.
say,
Yeah.
"Great, how much you want? Okay, here's X amount. We can afford to give you 3,000 or 4,000, and you go make a video, right?" So that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
So all those opportunities are possible, but first we need to have somebody provide the right original music for it. Now, this brings me to the next point that I really want to highlight, because not everyone will know what this means. So what does it mean that when you say you will continue to own the rights to your content and just have to agree to a non-exclusive agreement with open space? So what does that mean? Let's just break it down, because not everyone will know.
Okay, very very simply, if you're a songwriter or whoever, right, you own your rights. Whatever you do with it, do it. Go ahead, right? But since we're doing everything we're doing, sort of meet us halfway and give us at least the first option to use that music. Whatever you do with it after that, fine, go ahead. There's no strings attached, nothing. But it just makes business sense and common sense, right? That we're doing all this, right? And we don't want to get tied up with rights issues. That's why I said people keep their rights. I don't want to know. No need to sign contracts about rights and all that, right? So, does that answer your question, or you got something
It's
else?
very simple. Yeah, basically you allow open space to use the music that you submitted, but you have no obligation other than that. You can continue to share that music as you like. You own it,
Sure.
and you can use it for whichever channel you choose to share it with people. That is completely fine, as long as
Sure.
you let open space use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, we're near the end of the show, but we still have about 10 minutes. If anyone watching has questions, please, comment below, and we will get to those questions. You want to jot this down, because the competition is now officially open. You can submit all the way up until August 17. And there is the website, the URL that we promised to share with you earlier in the show. Jot down that website. That is where you can find the story. You can find where to answer those 6 questions, and you can see the complete details of all the rules related. We've covered the main points already, but you can go ahead and read the rest. Everything is on the website. So go ahead and check that out. I want to shift to Camila again and ask you about plans. Like, what does Open Space plan to do from the time being between now and the deadline of the song submission? So we've got almost 3 months of time.
I think one of the important things for us to do is to be able to reach out to people around the world like you, Louise, who have audiences of songwriters and independent musicians, so that we are giving the opportunity to as many people that there are in the world that want to enter, so that we've got as big a collection of songs as there are. So yeah, anybody watching who has friends or who knows other people who have creative mind, imagination, songwriting, tell them all about it. So that we are getting more and more people into the competition. I think that's the main thing anyway.
That's right. So this is only the very beginning. Like you guys launched a website. I think just a day or yesterday, just yesterday. So it's newly launched. We're talking about it. We're giving you some insight bits and information, giving you a chance to meet Hans and meet Camila, giving you a chance to ask questions throughout. But then, throughout the next 2.5 months, you can continue to share this opportunity with people that you know and with people that you think might be interested in submitting original music. And the point is we want to make this available to songwriters everywhere. So not restricted to any region at all. It's not even, there's no age restriction even. If you're underage, you just need a parent or guardian to give you permission. It's as easy as that. And something else that is not yet on the website is what happens after August 17th. And I have a little bit of insider information. And so I know that after August 17th, there will be a month of time for the finalists to be selected. So by September 17th is when the 12 finalists will be chosen. And their music, along with, I guess, their profiles will be posted on the website. So, and that's when the public voting begins. And then a month later, October 17th is when the winner will be chosen. Does that sound right to you, Hans? Did I get it right?
I don't know about the dates. I'm really thinking about other things,
Okay.
But
Well,
I get what you're saying. But
your team told me that, so I'm gonna
yeah. They know better than I do. But I really think you're doing a great job, Louise. I was thinking about it, and I was talking to somebody yesterday. I said, this girl's got a full-time job, and she makes the time to do what she's doing for free. Not many people do that, And I think, a lot of people should thank you. And through this show, I've come across some really good talent and some very smart people, I still remember your interview with the girl Kat
Yes.
Calabresi.
Yeah.
I mean, what she was talking about, algorithms and real music, was really good. You've got Scott and Rob and is it Jake? You got
Jake
some
Thistle
really good,
is another,
yeah, you got some
another
really
one that I
good talent
interviewed.
there. And the thing is, you're doing all this for free. I think
Yeah. And
you
it's
should.
because I really enjoy the conversations with the musicians. And if I were doing it for money, I would not have lasted as long as I have. So I thank you for giving me just like spending the time to talk about me. I wasn't expecting that. So thank you very much,
So
Hans.
you're actually getting a free counseling session then, right?
Am I getting a free counseling session? Yeah, it's like talking to musicians is therapy, essentially, right?
It is.
Oh yeah, totally. It is.
So it's writing music. It's all therapy. We're all
That's
in
right.
therapy right now,
But let me not forget about this question that we have happening on screen right now. So Adrian is asking both Hans and Camilla, what are your thoughts on bands that combine different musical genres such as rock, pop, hip hop, soul? I know the answer to this, Adrian, but Hans is going to give you that very quick answer, which is
I love it.
yes.
I love it. You know, mix it all up. You know, I, I it's really what I want,
Yeah.
uh, personally, because you know I've been around just pop and just rap and all of just genre, which is what's happening now, which is another way of conning people. You know, I'm number one on the heavy metal chart, I'm number one on this chart, but sort of something that has no music has no boundaries, right? Music has no labels, it has no genres. It shouldn't. Think about it. When Billboard started, it was just one chart. There are now about 40 different charts, subcharts. Why? Business. It's money, which
Yeah.
I don't like.
I think when you
But
submit, for example, when you want to release your music and you upload it, you have to label yourself. You have to pick a genre for your
I
music,
don't think
right?
so. I don't think so.
Somebody told me that you have to pick like, okay, this is pop or this is
No, I don't.
folk, and like you have to pick something
I wouldn't
for
even
Apple
know. I
Music.
mean, I wouldn't even know what is folk music. What acoustic guitars folk? I wouldn't know. I think it's music. It's just music. You know.
Yeah.
I
And
think
and
one of
I
the biggest, most exciting creative artists in the moment is someone like Little Nas X. And if you look at his career, he's supposed to be a rapper, but he became famous with a country song. I mean, Montero is just such a brilliant, brilliant pop track, and it's Latino, if anything. And obviously, he's been mostly in the news lately for the Nike 666 Antichrist shoes. Everything seems to be done with a playfulness and a kind of, I don't care what the barriers are, we're just going to throw them together. So I think if somebody produced sort of genre busting song, mixing up any of these things, we would. And I think Hans mentioned the Eurovision Song Contest earlier, which
he
some of
did.
your audience might know. I mean, it's been won by a Italian sort of 70s rock band rapping in Italian. I mean, it's not something you'd expect on a Saturday night show on TV, but it connected with huge numbers of people. It had a massive, massive public vote. So I think bring it on.
Exactly. So yeah, we've got people, at least the people that I know that are tuning in are from different types of music, different musical styles. And when I talk to musicians, I never want to say you are this or you are that, because like you said, Hans, music should be free of all of those boundaries. Somebody I recently interviewed who plays the viola da gamba, which is an older instrument. Usually they use it to play Baroque music. And I asked her, do you ever play more modern music, or do you think the viola da gamba should be limited to a certain time period? And her answer was great. She said, this is just an instrument and music is just music. And I think that's the thing that I love about music in general, but also this competition. You're not really interested in rules, you're just interested in one killer song, whatever that might be, whatever style that is, as long as it attracts you. That's the
Frankly, I don't even want musicians to think they are quote unquote competing with each other. You know, that's the personal thing. You know,
mm,
like someone said to me before we talked to you. I mean, when we were first discussing this, is it a competition or is it a contest? I said,
what's the
who
difference?
cares? Yeah, I mean, it's semantics. You know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it as simple and free flowing as possible. I mean, I might give you a call tonight and say, you know what, I think open it up to like 5 people, right? It just
All right.
depends on
Yes.
my mood, you know.
So Hans doesn't really care about his bank account. He is
Well, I
all
do care
about.
about my bank account.
Do you?
You know.
Doesn't seem like it.
Well, you know.
But hey, Hans, if you're opening up more opportunities,
You'll
where
be the
can they
first to
find that
know.
information?
Well, from you, they can call you.
From me? Okay.
Yeah,
Not that many people have
I'll
access to my phone number,
I'll
but
WhatsApp you and say, what?
I
Not many
think what
people have access to my phone number either.
well, this is about talent discovery. Yes, I'm seeing a comment from Andrew that says a talent discovery and showcase machine. Oh yeah. It's not just about discovering the winner. We want to showcase
Andrew,
songwriters.
I know Andrew.
You know, Andrew.
Andrew wants me to showcase his band from New Zealand. They're
There we
touring.
go. Let's hear from Andrew, right? Let's hear from bands from New Zealand. Let's hear from some great talent in New York City. Let's hear from, I don't know, everywhere. Scandinavia, South
Ah,
Africa, Asia.
well, look at the
So
3 of us. Think about
yes,
it, right? I mean, how much more cosmopolitan can we get? You know, think about it.
exactly.
And you know, we're in a restaurant, right? I mean, it's like the United Nations here, and we're having a Zoom call. You know,
How is the
but
meal?
I haven't eaten. I'm waiting to eat.
I
Jennifer's
thought all
eating.
this time you're
Juliet is
getting
eating.
plates served to you. We're hearing
No,
this like,
just people just walking around and eating. I'm not eating. You know,
all right.
We're waiting
Other
for a
people are
moment.
eating. Hans can't wait to eat, but Hans and Camila,
I'm drinking champagne and orange juice.
are you? Show
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Cheers.
All right, cheers. I've got some water in my mug here. Cheers. If you want to find out more about the competition, well, this is a good place to start. Share this video with others because, as Hans said, don't think of this as a competition. Let's bring more songwriters together. Let's share each other's original music. It doesn't get better than somebody like this group of, Hans and Camila and also their team who are passionate about finding great
The
talent
team are
and
very
finding.
scared right now that I might start nothing to do with the competition or whatever you want to call it, but changing words. Like,
Right, like
let's start
offering
calling
5
it.
cash prizes instead
Yeah,
of just
yeah, and
one.
it's like, what? You're changing it? Yeah, you know.
Things will be fluid, so you want to stay tuned. Open Space is the organizer. You can find their profile if you go to some of my recent posts, whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find their details. So I definitely recommend checking them out and following them. Make sure you jot down that URL. Do we have any last minute questions before we end the live Q&A here? If you have any questions, submit them right now. We'll get Hans and Camila to answer. This is a rare opportunity to have this virtual interaction with them. So use this
Andrew
opportunity.
and Andrew has left to form his own band.
Andrew is
Probably
getting
gonna
a
do
lot
it.
of spotlight here.
Hey,
Andrew is in
yeah.
New Zealand.
Andrew started this battle of the bands years ago. I remember him coming to
Ooh.
see me at either EMI or Universal. We never did the deal, you know.
Well, here is Andrew's opportunity, as well as everyone else who is tuning in. uh, I think that's about it, right? Any last thoughts from you, Camila, for everyone who's watching or who may be watching a replay of this?
I think get in touch with us if you've got any questions. I'm pretty excited to hear about the songs that come in. Keep checking into Louise to keep in touch with what you do.
We missed a little bit about that, but I think the gist of that was Camila is very excited.
I can't hear a word that she's saying, and she's just, you know, next to me, kind
Next to
of.
you.
But I
To
don't know
sum
what
it
she's
up,
saying.
I think
What
she
is she
said that
saying?
she's very excited to hear all the songs that
That's
will
good that
be
Camilla
entered.
is excited. You know, it's a good sign. Yeah,
What about you,
I said
Hans?
it's
Any final?
I'm excited.
Are you excited? Any
I'm
advice
excited.
for songwriters?
How can I advise people on how to write songs? Come on, you know, I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so if you need advice, refer to the name of this competition.
yeah.
Give yourself up to imagination. So use your imagination, watch the story, and let it take your songwriting
One thing I will
wherever
say
it
is
needs to go.
when it comes to creativity, I love the creativity of Damon Albarn and Jamie Hewlett and what they did with Gorillas. And I was in London when they were putting that together at Zombie Studios. I think they broke the mold, you know, and they were with EMI. And I think Gorillas is, to me, just so different and so cool. I'm not saying now everyone should do like Gorillas, right?
No, but if they can find a way to be different and cool, again, I have no idea how to be different and cool.
You
So
know how to be
it's,
different and cool.
do I?
Oh, you know, I know what you're thinking, Camilla.
Yeah,
saying nothing.
I don't get it either. If you're watching, I'm with you. I don't get it either, but that's fine. It's all up
What's
to
that?
you now, songwriters, to find a way to be different and find a way to be cool and get your songs submitted. That's the main thing. I think that's it, right? We're gonna close up the show and let everyone go to the website now and find out all about the story and start entering your songs for Hans, for Camilla, and the whole team to listen to them. So we look forward to August 17th at that line because that's when the song selection starts. But for now, good luck, everyone.
It's flexible, you know. Work
All right,
towards
keep
August
that in mind.
17th. Yeah,
Keep one winner,
flexibility.
two winners. We may end up with 10 winners. Who knows? Or all 12 winners. It is up to you. If you bring good
Could
quality
be
music,
the
anything
dirty
could happen.
dozen, you know. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in.
Thank you,
And
Louise. Thanks for
we
Thanks,
hope
everything.
Louise.
to have your song. Yeah. Thank you, Camilla. Thanks, Hans. That's it,
Thanks.
everyone.
Okay.
Good
Take care.
luck.
Time to finish my
Bye.
drink.